Welcome back. We are in Le Musée de Sonia, and here we can learn about the history of this town and area, which will be relevant to the game. I wonder who those are. We're talking about something. I wonder if they're with the tour group. They certainly don't look like locals.
There's a couple of beauteous dames. All right, so I'm feeling generous.
Can we eavesdrop on them?
Jeez, how paranoid. They stop talking if I get too close, as if I really care what they're saying. There's a couple of beauteous dames. All right, so I'm...
Maybe we can overhear them if we take a more stealthily approach behind the panels.
My goodness, Estelle, look at this. It's the sacred number of Ra.
You're right, Lily. And look, it says Virgo, Isis.
And Trinus et Unus. 301, isn't it? Or am I conjugating badly?
Oh, I'm afraid I never had Latin.
Well, I think I'm right. Do you suppose they're referring to Nut, Horus, and Osiris?
They could be referring to God, Jesus, and the Holy Ghost, couldn't they?
Don't be stupid. Anyway, Dr. Wen says it's all the same thing. Or was that Mary, God, and Jesus?
Look at that shape. Wasn't there something like that in Dr. Wen's sacred geometry?
Shh! Do you want to give everything away?
Oh, sorry.
Well, they seem to have some theories about various things. Let's talk to them.
Good morning, ladies.
Look, Estelle, the gentleman has come over to introduce himself. Isn't that charming?
Well, I try. The name's Knight. Gabriel Knight.
Yes. How do you do, Mr. Knight? I'm Estelle Stiles, and this is Lady Lily Howard.
Renowned on stage and screen. And now you're thinking, how modest, how petite, and of course, I am Lily.
Okay. I guess they're with the tour group.
Are you with the tour group?
He's a sly one, Estelle.
Yes, Mr. Knight, we are.
What about you, dear boy? I thought we'd met everyone this morning.
Oh, I'm a friend of Mosley's.
Ah, well.
His name inspired a lot of enthusiasm in them. We actually knew that they were with the tour group because Madeline said they rode with her in the van. Lady Howard and Estelle.
You wouldn't by any chance be here looking for the Holy Grail, would you?
Ah, but we all seek the Holy Grail.
You mean everyone on the tour?
No, little man. All mankind. The correct question is not, do you seek the Grail, but do you know what the Grail is?
Well, what is it?
Okay. I'll be saying that a lot with these two, I think.
Are you all here looking for the treasure?
Well, we can hardly deny it since we're on the tour.
But it's not as though we have a theory, Mr. Knight.
Estelle, you're so subtle.
Oh, yeah? You got a theory? Well, let me hear it.
Is that a note of ridicule I hear? Can it be?
No, I didn't.
Do you think perhaps that only men can have valid theories?
Hardly. It's just the whole idea of a...
Lily.
Are we to take it that you yourself have no theory, sir?
About the treasure? No, I don't.
Methinks he doth protest too much.
It's possible.
I'm fairly sure that Gabriel has no theories about anything. They are quite the odd couple, aren't they?
Lady Howard and Estelle Stiles, they're Brits, not to mention a little whacked.
True on both counts.
I think I've had enough of Lady Howard for the moment.
I've had enough of her for a lifetime. Okay, let's check this museum.
These panels tell the history of the Rennes-le-Château area.
Okay, so let's take a look at them. I can look at them in more detail.
These panels tell the history of the Rennes-le-Château area.
But unlike in Gabriel Knight 2, where Grace could read most of the panels for you, it seems that I will have to read them. The Celts, the earliest recorded inhabitants of the Languedoc, were Celtic. That's not strange if they were Celts. Several stone monuments in the area are thought to be French versions of Stonehenge. Very little is known about this period. Well, there are a whole bunch of these panels. I can actually strafe when I'm holding control, which makes this a little bit easier. The Romans. The Romans called this area Gaul. They had many rich silver and gold mines here, sustained by slave labor. Gaul was a favorite spot for exiling people. Pontius Pilate and Herod Antipas were both exiled here by Rome. But there was one village that resisted the conquerors. I'm not entirely sure if that's the correct English phrasing, because I always read those comics in Dutch. Next panel are about the Visigoths. The Visigoths conquered Rome, raiding the city of Rome itself in 410. They ended their nomadic existence by settling in this area with their vast stores of plundered wealth, which was never found, as the curator was keen to remind us. Nearby Toulouse was their capital. The Merovingian dynasty, 461 to 962 AD, was a line of mystical priest kings with long hair that ruled the German Franks. Clovis I in 507 defeated Alaric II of Visigoths in battle. Clovis I made a pact with the Roman Pope to consolidate the position of each. Okay. In 671, Merovingian king Dagobert II married Giselle de Rhazes, or de Raz, I guess. I'm not entirely sure how to pronounce some of these names. Niece of the Visigoth king. Her hometown, Rennes-le-Château, then called Redai, became the Merovingian stronghold. The two had a son, Sigisbert IV. On December 23rd, 679, Dagobert II was murdered by a servant under directions from the king's treacherous mayor of the palace, Pepin the Fat. That's not a very generous nickname, is it? His 3-year-old son, Sigisbert IV, disappeared and the kingship passed to a weaker branch of the family tree. The Pope endorsed this murder. Oh, that wasn't very nice of him. The Carolingians, the family line of Pepin the Fat, gradually took over rulership. In 754, Pepin III, by the pronouncement of the Pope, officially became king of the Franks. His dynasty included Charlemagne. The Carolingians' rule ended in 987 with the new dynasty of the Capetians. This is a very abridged version of the history, it seems. Septimania. From the Spanish Pyrenees up through Toulouse and Narbonne, there was a strong Jewish contingent. In 759, Pepin III, in exchange for acknowledgement of the Jewish leaders, made Septimania an independent kingship. The Jewish Septimanians chose as their king Theodoric, or Theodori, I'm not entirely sure. It's hard to tell the C from the E in this particular font and this graphical quality. Descendant of Sigisbert IV, Theodoric's descendants include Guillaume de Gallon and Godefroy de Bouillon, Duke of Lorraine and conqueror of Jerusalem during the Crusades. The Cathars. Perhaps as an outgrowth of the region's historical independence in the late 12th century, the the Languedoc became the hotbed for a group called the Cathars. The Cathars were nominally Christians, but their theology was considered heretical by the Catholic Church. The Pope arranged the Albigensian Crusade in 1207, in which the Cathars were slaughtered, men, women and children. The region never fully recovered. Yeah, the church was such a nice place at that time. And I think this is the last one on this side. Knights Templar. Although the Templars were inaugurated in Jerusalem in 1118, several of the key founders came from the Languedoc, including Hugues de Pine, Count of Champagne. The temple continued its association with the region, establishing several bases here. Many high-ranking Templars came from Cathar families, including Bertrand de Blanchefort, 4th Templar Grand Master. The Knights Templar were eventually accused of heresy. General arrest occurred in 1307. The group was disbanded and all that resisted were burnt at the stake, which was mainly an excuse used by Louis XIV, who had great debts to the Templars. And although the Templars were disbanded, there were several independent groups who carried on their work in a large degree. And it has even been speculated, although I don't think there's any definite proof, that the voyage of Columbus was in fact paid for by one of the local chapters of the remains of the Templars in Spain rather than the Spanish king. Certainly the ships that Columbus used have the Templar cross on the sails, but I don't think it is known whether or not that means that the Templars founded the journey or if they were simply ships that the Spanish realm had impounded, so to speak, from the Templars. Is this a painting, I guess?
Adam and Eve. I never liked that story. Can you imagine there being only one woman on the entire planet? Oh, God.
When Adam delved and Eve span, who was then the gentleman? Okay. Sure, whatever. I'm not really into theology, so I don't know. This side tells the history of Sonia.
This side tells the story of that Abbé, Sonia,
who is rather important to this region. Béranger Saunière was born and raised near Rennes-le-Château in a town called Montezel. He was ordained and appointed abbé to Rennes-le-Château in 1885 at the age of 33. Well, as before, we'll go across the whole row. For 6 years, Saunière struggled on a starvation salary. He managed to raise a little money from locals to restore the decrepit church. He began the work in 1891 and was dismantling the altar when he found a hollow in an ancient Visigothic pillar. Inside the hollow, Saunière found 4 parchments in wooden tubes. The parchments were said to be 2 genealogies, a 2-sided parchment containing Greek scripture, and a confession of one Abbé Bigot, abbé at Rennes-le-Château in 1789, and confessor of the Blanchefort family. Saunière took the discovery to his superior, the Bishop of Carcassonne. The bishop sent him to Paris, where he stayed for 3 weeks. In Paris, he was introduced to various persons known to be involved in esoteric and occult circles. He is paid to have copies made of several paintings in the Louvre. When Saunière returned to Rennes-le-Château, his fortunes had changed. He began spending vast sums of money. He had a lavish villa built for himself and his housekeeper, Marie Denarnaud. Then he added a strange tower overlooking the valley. We have already seen both the villa and the tower. I guess that his sudden wealth is part of the route for these treasure stories of this area. Sonia built a road and water system for the town. He refurbished the church in a garage in an unorthodox manner. He gave money away and spent a fortune on his friends. Although a later superior demanded the name of the source of his wealth, Sonia was excused from such an explanation by the Pope himself. Okay, I wonder what the Pope had to do with that. Maybe he was in on the secret. Sonia also did some unaccountable things, such as destroying several of the tombstones in the local graveyard and defacing other ancient local inscriptions. Okay, I wonder what that's about. Distinguished and mysterious visitors came to see Sonia at Rennes-le-Château, including Archduke Johann von Habsburg, cousin of the Austrian Emperor. Sonia died suddenly of a stroke on January 17, 1917, at the age of 65. His death came only days after Marie de Narnaud ordered his casket. Though Marie said she would reveal his secret before she died, she never did. All she said was that people in the area were walking on gold and didn't even know it. And finally, Asmodée, gravure tirée d'un livre de l'abbé Saunière. Okay, not entirely sure what that means. Something about a book from the abbé. I guess it's a picture from that book or something.
This side tells the story of that Abbé Saunière. This side tells the story of...
I thought you could look at these symbols.
It's an angel holding a devil in chains. Odd. I've never seen Satan drawn quite like that. It's an angel...
I'm trying to look at the symbol as well. The shape of which is something we'll see again in this game.
It's an...
Yeah, we've seen it. It's a depiction of Asmodeus, I think. Let's see what this is.
Hey, he kind of looks like me. Except for the dress part.
Is it the Archangel Gabriel, perhaps? I don't know. Text is impossible to read. Let's see what they're looking at.
A bunch of old documents in French. Be still, my heart.
This is really the kind of things we should be doing with Grace. She would have much more insightful things to say about the things we see.
It's an angel holding a devil.
Oh, it's the same thing.
Looks like some kind of emblem or seal in Latin. Probably from the church.
Could be. Now we can comment on the emblem, apparently.
It's a letter in French.
The man himself?
I think he's the guy the museum's named after, Saunière.
That does seem to be a logical thing.
I think I've had in...
Okay, we can't talk about talk to them about anything else anymore. Is there anything else to talk about with the curator? Yes, it seems we can talk about Saunière now that we have looked in the museum.
So, where did Saunière get his money from?
If I could answer that, monsieur, do you think I'd be sitting here?
That's a good point, I suppose.
Madame Girard. She's kind of uppity for someone who lives in the middle of nowhere. Then again, hell, I live in Rittersberg. I don't have anything else to say to her.
Okay, I guess that is it for the museum then. There was nothing in the history descriptions that would link any of this to these paintings. I guess it's not important. Well, we'll continue looking around the town in the next video.